Welcome back, guys! So in today's video, as you saw by the title, I will be talking about the 5 best places where to get your first tattoo. These will be my opinions personally. Of course, anyone who is getting their first tattoo is free to get their tattoo wherever they want. It's just like sometimes people are wondering where to get their first tattoo and what would be the best placement. So I am here to kind of give some directions to that, yeah? I'm not saying that you should get the tattoos in the places that I recommend. Like, it's not obliged, but it's just a recommendation, you know? And of course, it always depends on if you want to be heavily tattooed in the future or you just want one tattoo. It always depends, but either way, let's just get into the video. So the first place where I would recommend to get your first tattoo would be either the inner arm or the forearm. So why so? The inner arm especially would be a good place if you want a small tattoo or like a palm-sized tattoo, but you want it to be still available to hide it in some places, because the inner arm is the inner arm. It's not that visible. And even if you're wearing long sleeves, it's not going to be that visible. It always depends on where you're working or what your lifestyle is like and how you feel about visible tattoos. So I think the inner arm is a safe bet. However, the inner arm is a quite sensitive and painful area. My first tattoo was on the inner arm, which is right here. This here, right? These peonies right here are my first tattoo, and yeah, that's why I recommend the inner arm, because I knew I was feeling safe about that place. It's going to be kind of still personal and somewhat hidden, so I chose that placement. But sometimes for people who are getting their first tattoos, it's more recommended to get a tattoo in a placement that is not the most painful. For example, the knee or the elbow. I'm not saying that those are the most painful places, but it's an example. The forearm is going to be a lot more painless than the inner arm, but the forearm, however, is also a good place where to get your first tattoo. And I recommend on the forearm, somewhere on the upper place of the forearm, not the wrist. I don't know, I've seen a lot of people get their first tattoos on the wrist, like something small, but I feel like that's a very visible placement. You're free to get your tattoo wherever you want, as I said, but I don't think the wrist is a good idea or good placement. And the wrist right here is very painful, gonna tell you that. I have half of the tattoo going on my wrist, and that was very painful. It was not pleasant at all. So yeah, the forearm, the upper forearm, is a good placement to get a tattoo. It will be more visible, of course, than the inner arm, but still I think it's like a very flat and good area. And if you know that you're going to get more tattoos in the future, then yeah, still a good placement. And of course, you can tell your tattoo artist about your future plans if you have any. But like for the first tattoo, when I say first tattoo, I usually think like one tattoo, because some people go and get their first tattoo like a half sleeve or something like that if they're like very determined on what they want. It depends on, it's seriously, oh my god, there are so many things that it depends on, because it depends on what your first tattoo is. It is a small dot or is it a huge piece? Of course, there are also things that can go into that nobody recommends for you to get a huge back piece as your first tattoo, and I don't think anyone really would. Everyone, I think, starts off slow or small or kind of gets themselves going, because I think the first tattoo determines a lot of things. Either you're gonna get tattooed in the future or not, or if you even like tattoos. So I know people who have gotten their first tattoo and know that they're not they know they're not going to be tattooed anymore in the future, and that they just have that one tattoo, and I completely understand it. But for me, I got my first tattoo, which was the starting point. I always knew I was gonna get a lot of tattoos, but I still started off slow and gradually went into it, as you can see. Placement number 2 would be thighs. Why thighs? Because thighs also you can kind of hide the tattoo if you need to, like if you wear pants, shorts, skirts. Okay, if you wear shorts, but you can also wear a long type of shorts. Like, I don't know if you need to hide the tattoo, but in cases, like the first tattoo, big deal. A very kind of painless area. Of course, the tattoos hurt anyway, but it's not the most painful area to get a tattoo. So I think that thighs are a good placement. You can get a larger scale piece on the thigh or something smaller and just place it wherever on the thigh where you wish. And yeah, so I think that's a good placement. Third placement, also on the legs, but the calves. I have a tattoo on my calf, on my right calf, and when I got it, it wasn't as painful as a lot of people say. It also always depends on the pain tolerance that you have. If you don't have a tattoo, you obviously don't know how bad it's going to be. But anyway, the calf also a good placement because for the first tattoo, because it's also like a good area for a tattoo. So if you're gonna want to fill in the whole leg sleeve later, it's a nice piece to have there. It's not going to be a problem to like morph it into a like leg sleeve if you want it with time, you know. Maybe a bit more painful than the thighs. For me personally, I don't know how it is for others. The fourth placement to get your first tattoo, which is a good placement, are the shoulders. Also, you can wear short sleeve t-shirts like this and this tattoo can be still hidden. And also because the shoulders are on the arms, not a very painful area. My shoulder tattoos did not hurt at all. They did hurt a little, but it was not excruciating. Shoulder is definitely a good placement for either also a palm size tattoo or something small. And even if you start like a tattoo on the shoulder and if you want to continue it into a sleeve, it's a good way to go downwards from there. So you can work that piece later into a sleeve and no problemo. Nope, no problemo. What language is that? The last but not least placement, fifth placement for a tattoo. For a first tattoo that I would kind of recommend would be the ribs or along the side of your body. However, it is a very painful area, but you can hide it very well. Like you are not walking around in your bra or shirtless all the time. So in case you need to hide the tattoo or have it not be as visible, the ribs is a very good placement. It is very painful, however, of course. I have a tattoo that is going on my ribs, so I know how bad it can get and how painful it can be. But if it's something small, like either a text or a line or very something small, I think you can go with the pain because small tattoos don't take up a lot of time. Comparison if it was like a huge piece or something that would take a lot of time and pain. I think when you get your first tattoo, it should be something for yourself, a thing you need to think about and not be reckless about it. But there are all kinds of people out there. This is just my opinion and my advice. You can take it, you cannot take it. It's your own choice, of course. I hope this maybe helped you. Let me know. This is the end of the video. Give me a like, subscribe, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!